Hey guys, tonight I'll be sharing my experiences as I navigate the opioid crisis. Be right back. Grab your popcorn and snacks. Find a comfy spot, take a seat or lie down, and let me transport you to a place of fantasy, ghost stories, ancient legends, odd creatures, alien encounters, and other magical topics. You may even decide to join the conversation. From faraway lands to your own backyard, with a small dash of pixie dust. Turn out the lights and open your minds. The journey is about to begin. Again. It's because I'm trying to give me a second here. My phone's unplugged, so let me get my phone plugged in here. Let me plug it on in. Sorry about this. Problems. All kinds of problems. Okay. Okay. Now we'll get to our intro. How's everybody doing tonight? I think I heard everybody say yes. Great. Wonderful. Peachy. My name is Charlotte. I'm going to be your host for the next hour. I'm also the owner of the California Haunts Paranormal Investigation Team based out of Sacramento, California. We are 45 strong up and down the state, which means if you have a paranormal need, we can get to you. It might take us a while, but we definitely can get to you. In the case that it does take us a while, we have mediums on staff who can phone you and talk to you about what may or may not be going on. Oh, that's where I put that. See, I put things away. I never know where the hell I put it. Anyway, our mediums can call you and talk to you about what may or may not be going on. And in most cases, if it is paranormal, they can calm the energy down until we can get out there. And it usually doesn't take us more than 2 or 3 days to get out there. But California is this huge state. Welcome, everybody. It's 93 degrees outside. Normally, I would have the AC off because the weather's starting to go down. Like in a few minutes, it's supposed to be 86. But I was out in my car all day driving, and I mean all day, and it was hot in my car. No AC in my car. So I was out driving in my car, and then I got home and got a little sick from I think it was from the heat. So I decided to forego it all and leave the AC on. All right, if you're watching from Facebook tonight, and a lot of you are, and you haven't done so already, please feel free to hit that follow button. Always looking for followers, always looking to build up the product, as they say, right? It's a product, it's a brand. Also, if you like what you hear tonight, please be sure to hit the thumbs up, hit the hearts, hit the happy faces. I'd really appreciate it. I really would. And I don't know how much noise this air conditioner makes, and it's through the window thing back here. If you're watching from, YouTube. Thank you. The dog is laying in here too, so she reminded me. If you're watching from YouTube, and a lot of you are, please feel free to subscribe if you haven't done so already. We're always trying to reach that 1,000 subscribers on there and build up YouTube, and we're doing it little by little. Every week, more and more people subscribe. Hello, Pamela. And also, same rules go. Thumbs up, happy faces, all that kind of things. Even comment over here. Like Pamela just comment. Because what happens is the master computers at all the social media sites, because we're also live on Twitch right now. Hi, Twitch. And all the social media sites see that there's comments and that people are doing thumbs up and things like that. And the computer pushes us out to more people. That's where this thing, when you go on TikTok and you see the FYP page or that For You page, that's what it's for. Because the For You page is suggestions by TikTok or suggestions by Facebook or suggestions by YouTube or Twitch of things you might like. So that's where I might end up on yours For You page, right? And also, if you like this show and you've been watching it for a while, why don't you share it? If you've got people in the house that you think might like to hear me yak at you, share it on. Maybe there's somebody in another room and you're having your dinner and you're doing this stuff, and hey, there's a really cool little show here that I listen to. That would be great if you could do that. I'd really appreciate that. Pamela, she carries me out Sundays when I do the book read. She carries me in her pocket as she cleans house. Hey, I'm good. I like going for rides and walks. I'm good with that. Okay, today's topic, because I'm going solo today. For you guys that don't know, I am a pain patient. I've been a pain patient for years. Since I would say around 2009, I've been a pain patient. When it first started, my first injury occurred. I had gotten hit by a car on my bike and got flipped over the handlebars of my 10-speed. Now, if you guys don't remember what a 10-speed is, because you don't see a lot of those, it's the one that had like the ram's head, the ram's horn handlebars. And plus, I had like a smaller one, the men's version, because I always liked how they felt, right? I got flipped over the handlebars and ended up going to emergency. I had surgery on my head, hurt my back really bad, but I recovered. I was like 18, 19 years old. You're rubber, right? You're still rubber. But I always had problems after that. I always had problems standing for long periods of time and bending over. But again, you're young, you don't care, so no pain pills then. So then later on, as I got older, I started to film a TV show called California Haunts, or California Adventures. And this is I don't want to get Disney mad. This is before Disney opened up California Adventure Park. And I have an S on mine. And so we'd go out and we would ski and we would do all this stuff. California Adventures, that's what it was about. That's how I met the ghost hunt team that got me into ghost hunting. And we were coming home from Lake Tahoe in the winter. And I had to work that day. I used to work weird shifts. And I fell asleep at the wheel when I got into Woodland, California. And I rear-ended an ambulance of all things. Survived it, walked away, major pain. Ended up finding out that I had a bad disc in my back because of that accident. That was the second thing. Alright, later on, the pain, I ended up getting to the point where I could hardly walk. And it was sciatic problems with my left leg. Went to the doctor, went through the test, ended up finding out that I had lumbar spinal stenosis in my spine. And arthritis. And bone spurs. Okay, all fine and dandy. Started taking because at that point I was taking lots of ibuprofen. But then one vacation, well, not one vacation, but later on I finally got it, a trazodone. Not trazodone, tramadol. Oh my god, tramadol. Which worked all right. It wasn't great. I would say my pain level would be probably a 8 out of 10 on the tramadol. Plus, it's hard to take. Tramadol is weird. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to get into the dosage, but it's a weird pill to take, especially with me because I was a newspaper reporter. So I was in my car and on the road. So it made things difficult. Uh-oh, I froze. There we go. Wait. Wow. Okay. Hang on, guys. I'm coming back in. Is it back now? Yeah. Wow. I have really good internet here. This is what happens. Anyway, so tramadol is it's effective, but it's a hard thing to take. So eventually, I was going on this vacation, and my father was taking hydrocodone at that point, and I couldn't get my tramadol prescription in time. It would have hit during my vacation. So my father gave me some of his. This is something you don't do, right? You don't share stuff. But my father knew how much pain I was in, so he gave me some of his hydrocodone for my vacation. And it worked. And so I came back, asked my doctor about it. She wasn't very happy. But I started taking hydrocodone back in 2010. That's when I started it. 2010, 2011. So everything's fine and dandy. I've got muscle relaxants. I'm doing all this stuff for my back. And then this opioid thing hit. And it wasn't too bad. I went for years without any problems. It's when within the last, some people will say it's 6 years. I started to have issues with getting my pills probably 3 years ago. Is where it really started to hit hard for me to get my pain medication. Because the thought was, because I did physical therapy, I did all that stuff, and the thought was that I would have to eventually get fusion in my back, get fusion surgery. I knew people who had done that, and it didn't work for them. Okay? But anyway, in the meantime, the hydrocodone was working. That was 2011. Yeah, 2011 I started taking it. But I have to digress a little bit because I'm ahead of myself. I just realized that. I was doing okay with my back on ibuprofen. And I'm a person that I was always working out, so I was always stretching. I used to ride my bike 6 miles a day. We were on a trip up to our house in Northern California, and we were out for a Sunday drive in our van, and the brakes went out in the van. And we ended up going 50 yards across a farmer's field. I was bouncing off the seat with the seatbelt on. When the van stopped, it kind of teetered to a stop, like something in a movie. When I got out of the van, CHP showed up. When I got out of that van, I couldn't stand up straight. Nope, couldn't stand up straight. I was able to walk over to the back of the patrol car and put my hand put my hands on the trunk. And a voice inside told me, if you do not stand up straight, you're never going to, ever again. So I stood up straight. Well, as straight as I could get. Was taking lots of ibuprofen, right? This is all what led up to the tramadol. Came back home, extreme pain, excruciating pain, no whiplash or anything like that, but I mean lower back. Oh my God, my lower back was just horrible. Did the X-rays, found out that my bottom two vertebrae were now lodged on top of each other. And back then, they didn't have this stuff that they could shoot to put in between the vertebrae. That was back in 2011. And now I understand there's like a cushion thing that they could shoot, with a needle to put between the vertebrae to separate. So I got back. And again, then the vacations and all that started. I was taking tramadol. And then that's when the vacation came after that, and then I ended taking hydrocodone, which was a lifesaver. I took the hydrocodone. My pain levels went from a 10. It went from what did I say? 8 out of 10 on the tramadol. It went from an 8 out of 10 to a 4 out of 10. Lifesaver. I have issues. Okay, I have issues mowing because it's at that angle where I have to bend my back, and those two vertebrae rub. Okay, I have issues vacuuming. I have issues mopping. So if I don't have the hydrocodone, I can't do that stuff. It's for quality of life is what it's for, and I've been told that by multiple pain management doctors. It's quality of life. So I've been taking the hydrocodone for years. And then all this started like 2 or 3 years ago where they were, the CDC, and all the DEA stuff started going on, and the doctors were starting to get scared. The problem that occurs, and I was a health reporter in Placerville. The problem that occurs with all this is that it's all fine and dandy that these rules have been set forth, these limits. But the limits that are set forth by the CDC are suggestions. This is what you could do. The problem is because there's so much involvement with the federal government, the DEA involved in this, arresting doctors for overprescribing, that doctors are afraid to prescribe. That's the bottom line. It's not that they want to they don't want the patients to have it. They are afraid to give it to the patients for fear of getting nailed for overprescribing, right? So they take those guidelines that the CDC puts out. I'm just trying to see. Hey, Jerry. They take those guidelines that the CDC puts out, and they take them literally. Literally, okay? And one of my team members, Jerry Edwards, he's the head honcho out in the Bay Area for us. Jerry Edwards. Anyway, but the doctors follow this stuff religiously, and they're not supposed to. They're just guidelines. But you can't blame them because they're afraid that not only the CDC is going to come down, they are afraid that they are going to be taken into custody because of overprescribing. Okay, it's an ugly situation. And really, when you come down to it, and like I said, I was a health reporter. I covered this stuff when I worked for the newspaper in Placerville. I saw a lot of this, a lot of pain patients like me who were starting to go through, But that was before I started to go through all this arguments with the doctors and stuff. You see it all the time. by these doctors, and they're just afraid. And so anyway, I started taking the pills, and this is before pain management was a requirement, because at one time your GP could give you pain pills without. Well, they still can, but they could be your primary pain doctor as well. Okay, so it was the government or the CDC that came up with this thing, or the medical boards, or who the hell ever did it, that said, okay, you have to have a special pain management place to go, so they can keep an eye on what you're doing. Okay. Now you got to remember too with all this is that if I look like I'm looking down, that's because I'm looking at myself. The camera's like up here. Okay. Um, the problem with this whole thing that they've done with this pain management is that instead of like aiming at certain people with this, they put a big blanket on it. What they were trying to do was curb the overdoses and curb the illegal, you know, taking of this medication and people buying this stuff illegally. The problem is, instead of separating the people that really need it from the people that are selling and taking it illegally, they didn't do that. They turned around and put it all under one umbrella. Okay? So when these cutbacks came in and these poor doctors, were starting to get arrested for doing stuff they've done for years, that's why. Because instead of being separate, going, okay, this is the doctor that's prescribing for a legitimate patient. No, this guy's just prescribing to prescribe. That's how they look at it. That's how it's looked at. So there was really, no definition. I mean, like me, for instance, I need it for quality of life. There's a lot of people like me that need it for quality of life, and they don't look at it that way. They look at, hey, you're addicted. You've been on this stuff since 2011. You're addicted. I'm not addicted. Okay? My mind right now isn't letting me get the name of what I am, but I'm not addicted. Okay? I need it for quality of life, unfortunately, because I cannot do things in my house. I just can't. I can't do normal chores like a normal person does. I can't bend over. I can't reach up. I can't do anything like that. And God knows I can't walk. And there's still days I can't walk. I got neuropathy that happens, and all this is going on. So it's just unfortunate that they've looped us all through this. So when all this started happening and they started to do the crackdown, the first pain management place I went to was really good. There was no problem there. They were really nice about it. The day that they said, well, we're not going to be treating, this is when it all came down. When all the rules from the CDC came down and all that, we're not going to be treating with any kind of pain medication anymore. We're going to be treating physical therapy and blah, 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 blah. So you can either stay with us or you can go to another pain management. Well, the last day I was there, the last thing I heard out of the doctor's lips was, I know you need this for quality of life. And I said, yeah, I mean, I can't function without it. So that was the end of that place. And he gave me a prescription for 30 days to make sure that I could get to another clinic, right? Back then, there weren't as many clinics shut down, and there weren't as many patients on pain medication like there are now, okay? So it was easy for me to get a referral to another pain clinic, all right? I go to this other pain clinic, and this is where it all started. I go to this other pain clinic, and this doctor over there was trying to sell injections. He was trying to sell physical therapy. I did physical therapy, been there, done that. Okay, so I did it for him as well. I did everything they asked of me. The only thing I didn't do was the back injections. I don't want people putting poison in my back. I did those when I was at the big hospital, and they didn't work. They lasted about a day. And so I didn't want to go through that again. Plus, I had some weird side effects from it. Didn't want to do that again. It was my choice. One of the things they wanted me to do was lay down flat on my stomach so they could do it. And I said, well, I have congestive heart failure. Laying down flat on my stomach isn't really a good thing. Right? But every time I went in there, it was like the man was trying to sell me a used car. Oh, here's this pill, here's this. And what frustrated him more than anything is that I do my research. I'm a newspaper reporter, right? Investigative reporter. I do my research before I even go to the doctor. I go in well armed. I'll take a binder with me. I even took my friend who's a nurse in with me one time. Because, he was pounding all the time. Why don't you try this pill? Suboxone, this. The problem is with that pill, there's lawsuits out about that because it rots your teeth out. No thank you. Right? And now, and as things progress, you start reading this stuff, whether it's online or in the newspaper. There's these things where now that they're coming out trying to tell you that pain medication doesn't work. They don't want to give it to people because it actually, in reality, makes you have more pain. Okay? That's the kind of ridiculous stuff that they're using as what I call the company line, right? That the pain medication actually doesn't work when it does. There's thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people out there that'll tell you the pain medication does work. Put it this way. Like I said, when I'm on my normal dosages, I take 3 a day. When I'm on my Norcil, when I'm on my normal dosage, my pain level is a 4 out of 10, 3 to 4 out of 10. When I'm off of it completely, my pain level is a 9 out of 10 to a 10. It even jumps above 10 to a 14 sometimes. You can't tell me pain medication doesn't work. Okay? This is just something that they're scaring, another thing that they're putting out there to scare the doctors with. Anyway, and I want to emphasize, I'm not a doctor, okay? I've just been a pain patient since 2009, going through this. Okay, I've just started that. I started navigating the system 3 years ago. All right, I'm not a doctor. You can't go by what I say. Hey, I saw this gal on YouTube and she says this. No. It's not the same for everybody. Okay, I'm just going my experience with this. And to give you an idea of how painful things can be for me, I used to take hour walks during my lunch break when I worked up in Placerville. And there's times where I have to either sit down or stop and bend over because my spine, okay, spinal stenosis, right? And I got all that stuff locked up in my spine, my spinal canal. I get like the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz, where I have excruciating pain at the base of my back. I have to bend over in order to get the spinal fluid into that spot so I can walk. Okay? Alright, anyway. And a lot of that saved me was my car had heated seats. So I'd get done walking and I would slide into my heated seat car and lay there for a few minutes before I went back to work. Alright, so we're coming back up to present. Alright, now I'm at this other place. The guy, I call him a used car salesman. So they decided to cut me back. They were going to start weaning me off. They decided to cut me back. All fine and dandy, except once I took my pill in the morning and that wore off, I couldn't do anything in the afternoon. Okay? And I needed to sleep at night because it hurts for me to lay down on my side and stuff. Okay, my hips and everything. So I finally went back in and I stopped dealing with him. I requested not to talk to the doctor anymore. I wanted to talk to the nurse practitioner, and that's what happened. I ended up working with a nurse practitioner instead of the doctor because I couldn't get anything through to that guy, to that particular doctor. So I got my regular dosage back. In the meantime, he would pop in every once in a while and try to sell me on this or sell me on that or sell me on this. And he would get so frustrated with me that he would throw his paperwork on the floor. Because every time he would say something, I'd counter back with, hey, yeah, I got this, from the medical board and blah, 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 blah. I had all this backed up stuff from the CDC and all this. And he says, oh, I guess you know more than I do. And I said, I guess I do at this point. And so he would throw stuff on the ground. He'd be so frustrated and walk out. Okay, further down the line. This stuff's all going on. I'm working with another nurse practitioner. Okay? And I get COVID last Christmas, over the Christmas holiday. I'm sick as a dog. And I mean, I can hardly walk. I'm coughing up my loogies. I'm doing all this stuff. And I call in over there. Look, I can't come in. I'm sick as a dog. And all they could say was, well, we're going to have to schedule you for an appointment. I said, well, why can't we do a tele-appointment? I'm sick. We don't do that. Even though on their website, it clearly says they will do telemedicine appointments. Okay? So I drug myself in. Coughing, gagging, you name it. Brought it. I not only did that, I brought my bag. I brought my Kleenex. And I go walking in there, and I'm like 45 minutes late. I walk in, and you can see the look on their face. What are you doing here? I'm here for my appointment. Nope, you can't be seen today. I told you that. You're going to have to wait a week. I can't wait a week because my prescription, and this is the other thing, and I'll explain about the prescriptions and how they work. My prescription was up the next day. Okay? Withdrawals suck. Even I go through withdrawals. They're horrible to go through. I said I can't do that. I have to get a prescription. And plus you need to give the pharmacy a few days to get it because the pharmacy has a certain allotment that they're allowed every month. And they have to fill out paperwork on it. So you just can't walk in to a pharmacy with a prescription and expect them to fill it right away. So anyway, so I'm there, and I'm looking around the waiting room, and there's no one in there. So I said, there's nobody here. Why can't I just get an appointment? Nope, we're not going to do that. Come back tomorrow morning. First thing. So I left, went out to the parking lot, filed a complaint. Next morning, got up, went out there. Took 2 hours to be seen. Got the prescription. Got my pill. Got my payments through 4 days later. That's how it works. Okay. Come in the next month, and everybody gets a note coming in. Everybody that has my medical group gets a note. We're no longer using your medical group. You got to find another place to go. Which I thought, fine, I'm happy to glad to get the hell out of here. So, hundreds of patients get turned away. All right, I'm not a betting person. I'm a business person. I've run teams for direct mail. I've supervised teams as an editor for newspapers. If you've got a business that's flourishing and a lot of people coming in, and let's say you've got a contract with somebody, and they cut your contract off, which is all fine, which happens, right? You're going to have to cut back your costs because you don't have that money coming in. What I found interesting with this whole thing was, according to the letter that I got that notified me that they were no longer going to be working with my coverage, was that it was that doctor's decision to cut the ties with my medical group, right? Okay, so now he's got people quitting because he can't keep them full time anymore. Why would you do that? What is that? Cutting off your nose to spite your face, right? So what I think, and this is just my opinion, okay, what I think happened was that I wasn't the only one that complained about this guy. So I think that's why my coverage started to drop them. I think my coverage dropped them. It wasn't the other way around. Okay, so that process starts. Got to get referrals. They let us go without any extra prescription. Okay, I don't know what the procedure is at different pain management places, but like I said, the last time I had to go through this, they sent me out with a paper prescription to give me more time to, find another doctor. This didn't happen. The worst part of what happened was that after sending me off, I started the referral process. The problem with it was that in order for the people to refer it, it has to be referred through your GP. All right. They were so backed up, or they claimed to be so backed up, they could not get my medical records over to my GP. Nope, could not do it. And this went on for weeks and weeks, where my medical records were in limbo. So I called up over there several times. Oh no, we can't do it yet. We don't have them ready yet. We can't send them over. I said, well, what am I supposed to do? I've got no prescription. My GP won't write a prescription now. She sees, what's going on with you guys. And they can't do the referral. Well, we're sorry about that, blah, blah, blah. Right, they're sorry. Right? I finally go in to see my GP. And I didn't really get off on the right foot with her originally. But I go in there. And it was because because they make you do an MRI because they want to see what your back really looks like and all this. So I did the MRI. That's why I was going as a follow up to the MRI and the blood test I had. And she looks at the MRI and she says, "Yeah, you got this going on. You got this going on. You got arthritis. You got all this going on." I said, "Yeah, you can see why I need that medication." Now, bear in mind that when I originally met with my GP like a year before that, and she knew that I was a pain patient, all she could say was, "I don't like messing with that stuff." Again, the doctors are afraid. Okay? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, "Look, I'm going to be out of medication in 2 days. We have to do something. I've got congestive heart failure. It's not going to be a good thing for me to go through withdrawals." I said, "It's obvious. You can see that I need this stuff for quality of life," and she agreed with me. And she kind of let slip that I wasn't the only patient that wasn't getting my records. They had they had they had a couple hundred patients at that clinic in particular that had the same issue from this doctor not getting the records after being released. Okay? Now remember, this is a month later after I had left. After I was released from that pain clinic. This is a month later. And they still hadn't got the paper. So I said, "Well, I don't know what to do. Should I go to the hospital? Should I go over to the doctor and just stand there, take a news crew with me and demand demand my medical records so you can write me a script?" And I was surprised and very pleased. She went above and beyond the call of duty for me and bent over backwards. She says, I said, "What about me going to the pharmacy and getting my prescription records so you can see that I've been getting this medication?" No, no. There's a master list. And I know this because they used to, every time you go in for your pain appointment, they check it off. Okay, you got your pills on the 11th. Okay, you can't get them till the 11th or the 14th, 13th, depending on how many days of the month there are. It's a 30-day thing. She managed to get those records. How? I don't know. But she managed to get the records. And I got my meds. Here is a doctor that swore up and down that she wanted nothing to do with any of this. And she went above and beyond to get me my meds. And from then on, we've had a good relationship. I've been very honest and open with her and everything, and all this is going on. Okay, in the meantime, my records hadn't arrived yet. I had called the California Medical Board and filed a complaint there because the records should not have taken that long to reach my GP. Okay, for this referral. Now, what am I? I'm almost 3 months into this referral process. 3 months. So, this went on, and I'm coming up to present time now. So you guys can like feel better, stop rolling your eyes and all this. I'm on the phone, trying to figure out where the hell my records are, and it's over. At least the referral process is working because my MRI arrived. Okay, and so my doctor okayed the referral. So this is going on, and so I get a call. Like, this is after I filed a complaint against them through the medical board. The pain clinic. I get a phone call about a week after I see my GP, notifying me that they're sending my records over there. Why did it take me to have to file a complaint to get them to send my records? Okay? That's known as bad pain management, doctor. Okay? I was running into people like out in the world who knew this pain management doctor and went, "Oh, no. You should have done your research. Stay away from this dude." I didn't do any research. I just, in my infinite wisdom, I just waltzed into it thinking it was going to be like the first guy I had, but no. So I finally got that. Referral's still taking a while. Finally got a referral a couple weeks ago. I went to the website to read, what this doctor was about, and everything on the website, the alarms went off, and I went, "Nope, not happening." Did my research online, went to Yelp, went to the med boards and all that, looked it up. Nope, not happening. Called my insurance back, and I said, "Look, I don't want this guy." And they said, "Well, with your coverage, there's limited places you can go." This one particular place that I'm at right now, a friend of mine Had nothing but good things to say about them. A couple of people I know go there. So I was really happy to get this place. So I called them last week. Oh, and in the meantime, I'm trying to get my pain pills for this month. And my doctor's hesitant to write them. Okay? Can't blame her, right? Again, to write the script. Turns out she was waiting for an update from me about pain management. Because I think secretly she was hoping that by now I would be with pain management. Or by that point, 2 weeks ago, I'd be with pain management. That. So I finally get hold of the doctor's office. It's going to be another week before they can really get me in. In the meantime, I got a spine. I had to replace the stimulator in my back. Not in my back, but I have a spinal stimulator that I use 2 or 3 times a day to regulate all that. So I had to replace it. That ended up being out of pocket. But that's coming in Thursday, because I have to pay for that Thursday. This coming Thursday. That was a lot of pocket. Because, of course, my coverage didn't cover that, naturally. So I'm waiting now on the new doctor to call me. So I send this update to my GP. And the next thing, I get this letter back, I get this email back going, oh, good, thank you for the update. Here's your prescription, la, 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 la. Okay? So I finally got that taken care of. I think she's relieved that probably by next month, at some point, she's going to be out of this mess, right? But what I didn't like, with this whole process and the way it went down was that he left my GP holding the bag. That's essentially what he did. Because every time I would call them, and even within the range of when he was supposed to stop servicing my particular medical group, all they said was, no, there's no appointments. Your GP can order the pills. Knowing that it was harder to do it because there were they didn't send the medical records over. The insanity of it all. I mean, how crazy. Anyway, I'm glad to be out of the other place, to say the least. I'm looking forward to this new place. But I did have to buy out of pocket. In fact, I just sent the money in today to get my replacement stimulator. Unbelievable the way the system is. And I'm not the only one in that situation, and it's sad. It's really sad what it's come to. And then, and the other thing that really gets me with it is that they have, I don't know how to explain the MMEs, but there's a certain amount of painkiller you're allowed to have. It's kind of like when you take ibuprofen and let's say, okay, you're only allowed 1,200 of this a day, right? 1,200 milligrams, whatever. Well, there's another measurement thing called an MME. Like I said, I'm not a doctor. I can't explain it straight out. Okay. The requirement for people on hydrocodone is, I think it's 30 or 40 MMEs. I'm below that. And yet I was still being harassed for the amount of hydrocodone I was taking. I was below the standards. And still the harassment was happening. And it's because they want everybody off of any kind of pain pill. It doesn't have to be hydrocodone. It could be tramadol. It could be any kind of pain pill like that. All right? They're being trained and harassed to the point that they don't even want, like my GP said when I first met her, oh, I don't want to deal with that stuff. And the truth of the matter is, if they're a good person, she's a good person. I don't blame them. I don't blame her for not wanting to be involved with that stuff. It's scary for a doctor. They've made it scary. I think Rhode Island, I can't remember exactly, there was like a 70-year-old doctor, family doctor guy, that was servicing his patients. And he got arrested, they put him in prison for what they called overprescribing. 70 years old, this old guy had to go to prison for helping his patients. Okay? And I agree. There are some people, I grew up with somebody that alcoholism ran in their family. And so she didn't like to drink. And I can't blame her for that, right? Just like with this, I'm sure there's I'm sure there's people that are more apt to become addicted than others. And you can't blame, I mean, that's just the way their system is. But there's also people like me who are, and I finally got the word back, dependent. There's people like me that are dependent on them to function in life. All right? There's a difference between dependency and being addicted. Yes, we're all treated we're all treated as addicts. Right? Even the people like me that are dependent on these things to do their daily to do their daily tasks, we're all treated like drug addicts, and it's not right. All right? I am dependent from years and years of use. Okay? This is why when I don't get my medications on time, I go through withdrawals, just like an addict does. All right? I get the crawling skin, I get the runs, the sweats, I get all that stuff going on. Okay? Because I'm dependent. All right? An addict takes them just to take them because they get a buzz or whatever is happening with them that makes them feel better to take them. That is the difference. Okay? Now, there's stories out there, and I can agree with some of these, where people will go through surgeries and they have a week's worth of these pills to take and they become addicted to the pills. Right? Because it makes them feel good. It gives them a buzz. And they feel good. They want to feel like that all the time. That's what that's what that stuff does. That's what opioids do. They give you. I admit it. There's a buzz. There's a slight buzz, even for me still. Doesn't last as long as it used to, but it's there. And people get addicted to that, and they want to continue. Then they start buying them on the street, and then the snowball fight. Then you got these people buying these pills that have PCP mixed in there or something else mixed in there on them, and they end up overdosing. Because they're not getting what I call them clean pills, which would be just the hydrocodone. They're getting the other stuff mixed in there with it. You hear stories like that all the time. I've seen stories of people even in my next door where their son has died of an overdose, and they think it's because somebody slipped something to him, and it turns out that they find the vial of the stuff in his pocket, or in his closet, or buried somewhere in his bedroom. And it's heartbreaking for parents to realize that they're buying this stuff off the street and dying from it. If you look at the stats, and there's a lot of stats out there about what's going on with this, the deaths that are coming in aren't from the people like me overdosing. They're from people that are buying the stuff on the streets. They're the ones that are overdosing. But again, the stats are all lumped into one big pile, one big bucket. We're all stuffed in there together. And it shouldn't be that way. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, it's really easy to get to Google and look at stuff. And there's so many conflicting things. I mean, you'll end up Googling the people like me, because there's a couple sites out there where there's some people working for people to help people like me. And there's sites out there that are anti-drug, right? Completely. So you got both of that going on. But it's narrow. It's like blinders on a horse. When they put blinders on a horse, this is what is going on. There's blinders, and these poor doctors are caught in the middle. And that guy I had that I did not like, I even told him I felt sorry for him, because I got where he was coming from. I understood. Hey, you're right in the crosshairs of all this. It's not your fault. But on the other hand, you're not going to come in here and try and convince me to do something that I know isn't going to work for me. I've been at this for 12 years with all this pain, and I know what's going to work for me and what's not going to work for me. Don't sit there and try to tell me this, and this. Been there, done that. But this is stuff that people aren't aware of. I mean, the best thing I saw, what was it, Channel 13, Channel 3 here in Sacramento finally did an expose on this, and it was one of the best jobs I've ever seen talking about this stuff. It was really well balanced. And the other sad thing that's happening, and let's get back to these deaths from overdose. The other sad thing that's happening out there is for the people that are being denied this medication. The people like me that need it real bad, people with cancer, or whoever else needs it, right? They're getting so desperate to be out of pain that they're buying this stuff on the streets. And again, it's laced with PCP, it's laced with fentanyl. And you're seeing overdose deaths from that stuff. Fentanyl is such a strong drug that it takes a minuscule amount to kill somebody. It has to be made a certain way and handled a certain way and really measured because it will kill someone. And there's a lot of stories out there, you can Google them, Dr. Google, there's a lot of stories out there that talk about these overdoses from people like me that are dependent on these drugs and were forced to go out on the streets and get them. Again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not an expert. I'm just going by what I have read. Alright? I'm not trying to lie about this stuff. I'm just trying to bring it to the forefront. Okay? Honestly. I'm just trying to bring it to the forefront for people to understand. Because it's sad. The situation's sad. You have to go in every month to your doctor and you have to fight to get your pain medication. It is a massive fight for everybody to get it. Sometimes you get lucky, you get a good doctor. There's no issues. They understand you, they understand your pain levels. But the majority of the time, like I said, these doctors are afraid to even prescribe these things. And they're trained to push this other stuff that really doesn't work for pain patients. There's a certain one they push, and it's one that they use to bring people down and get addicts down. The problem is it really doesn't do anything for pain, but they'll tell you it does. I do my research. I'm one of those patients because, like I said, working for the newspaper like I did as an investigative reporter, especially a health reporter, I've learned where to look stuff up and so I can understand it before I go in. And I've done research. I got piles of research here on this stuff. But I mean, it's really a sad situation out there. But at least in my case, we'll see how things go. Like I said, I just bought the stimulator for my spine, the replacement. But we'll see how things go with the new doctor. Hopefully I'm not going to war every time I go in. But I mean, it's a battle, and it's a never-ending battle. And I know people that have cancer that have the same issues that I have with getting their pain medication. It's really sad. It's really, really, truly sad to see. So it's not only me. There's people all over the U.S. having this issue. And again, if we weren't lumped under the same umbrella as the addicts, it would be all right. Separate us, for God's sakes. Separate us. And I know a lot of some of the guidelines, like even for California, the revised guidelines, states have their own guidelines as well. And a lot of those guidelines say, hey, this is a case-by-case basis. But the problem is, like I said, these doctors are so afraid to prescribe that they don't look at that part of the guidelines. It's like anything else. How about when you get a summons from court and you got to be in court? You're going to read whatever's in that first couple lines and think, oh my God, I'm being sued. You don't read beyond that. All that sticks in your head is, I'm being sued. Or I have to go to court. Right? That's what's happening with these medical experts, these medical doctors. They get in there, they get these papers to read, and they're reading the first paragraph, and oh my God, I don't want to get arrested. I don't want to mess with that stuff. It's sad. They don't go any further, or they at that point they don't want to see that. Oh, it's a patient by patient basis. No, they don't want to see that because they're scared. It's like that whole looking at the world through rose-colored glasses thing, right? Only these are dark glasses. Looking at the world through dark sunglasses. And I feel bad. Like I said, I truly feel bad for the physicians that have to navigate. They're navigating just like I'm navigating. But, hopefully it's a positive thing. There's several bills in Congress that are DOA right now trying to address all this. A couple of them have been shot down already, but there's still a couple of bills circulating through the government to help with this situation. But again, what the government is saying is that they're taking a blanket approach. So, I mean, it is what it is. So it's going to be years before all this stuff is put back to what it used to be, or normal. Or nobody's going to be on these pills, everybody's going to be in pain. Which isn't fair either. You know? But it is something when you think about it. How about the people that go in for surgery now, major surgery, get their kidneys removed, get something removed, and they send them home with aspirin or Tylenol? Nobody's getting proper pain care after surgery. There was that shooting, last year? Or was it the year before, where that gentleman had major surgery, and he only got like 5 pain pills. And then when he tried to get more, the doctor was ignoring him, wouldn't give him any more. And he went in there with a gun and shot the pain clinic up. People are desperate. How would you like to have major surgery and be sent home with bare aspirin, or be sent home with Tylenol? Can you imagine that? I can't imagine that. I mean, that would, let's just put it down plainly, that would suck to be sent home like that. But it's happening. It's happening all over the U.S. to patients. Let's see, with my luck, somebody's going to see this. The next thing you know, I won't get pain pills anymore. That's how my luck runs. But I'm not trying to cut everybody to ribbons. Okay, I want to read some comments. Hang on. What is best crystal to use? What's the best sage to use for dowsing rosin? I'll call you later on that. Okay? Good to use if you can't call it. Okay. Yeah, I'll call you later. But that's a paranormal question. But it's just something that's it's just something that's going on now. And people just aren't aware of it. There's not enough news coverage about what's actually happening at the ground, at the ground of this, because it needs to be out. And if enough people like me get out and talk about this and try to get it out into the media, it's going to help. Hopefully at some point maybe I'll get to go to Washington and talk in front of Congress, about what's going on. Because something really has to be done. Something has to be done. And it has to be done in favor of the people like me that are dependent on it to function in their daily lives. But I wanted to update you guys. I mean, I've been coming on occasionally, when Karen Clark was here too, coming on at least once a month to talk about this, because Karen Clark, my friend Karen, ended up going cold turkey. She did all right with it, but she went cold turkey. That's what they call forced tapering. She did that. And she's been around for it. It's fine. You saw her on here talking about that. But it shouldn't be that way. People shouldn't be forced to shouldn't have to go through forced tapering. It's not right. It's not right. Okay, I'm going to shift out of that because I got some news coming. I'm going to be selling t-shirts, California Haunts radio stuff, California Haunts Paranormal Investigation Team stuff. I'm going to be setting up a site on Wix where you guys can access stuff like that. I even have California Haunts sunglasses. How's that? You can go styling. But you can dress like a ghost hunter. How's that? Or you can dress like a radio fan with the radio logo on the back. So I'll be getting that site up very, very soon here. So you guys can check that stuff out. We're just trying to make money so we can fund this thing. We can keep this show going. I love doing this show. I'm a journalist. This is my thing. It took me a while to want to be in front of a camera. Hated the idea of doing a live show like this in front of a camera. But I love it. Love every second of it. Right? I love talking to my people in the RSS from all over the world. The ones that listen to us in Turkey and you name it. People are listening to us. And I love doing this, and I want to keep doing it. And I think you guys enjoy it too, as far as the shows go. So I will be opening up a official store for that stuff. Reasonably priced. Some different items. keychains, stuff you guys can use. Keychains with flashlights on them so you can go ghost hunting. Maybe red flashlights, things like that. So, in the next week or so, I'll be looking into doing that. So I've got a lot going on right now, and as far as the show goes, yeah, you've seen me kind of change the format up the past couple weeks. I was trying to clean some stuff off. I got some corrective suggestions from YouTube, so I've been trying to adhere a little more to that, to them. We're going to be doing a couple ghost hunts coming up here. I'm hoping to go live to show you guys what we do, bring you guys along live. A couple residentials. Going to be doing that. Going to be fishing. I got my fishing pole out yesterday. Take you guys shopping with me so I can buy some equipment to go with that. Some hooks and some lures and stuff. And you guys can start coming along on my fishing trips. Going to be doing that too. It's nice and hot. That's when the catfish out here bite. Is when it's nice and hot outside. And the mosquitoes are biting. So we're going to be doing that. So all kinds of stuff coming up that I have planned that I want to do. And I'm looking forward to doing a lot of it with you guys and bringing you guys along. Might even throw in some Disney stuff here and there, right? Because I like to do my Disney content creation. So we'll see how that goes. But I just wanted to share, my current update with this pain management thing. And it looks like it's going to work out. So we'll find out. Like I said, I did have to buy that spinal stimulator, which is fine. Of course, it came out of pocket to do it. But, I mean, if the thing works and helps me, so be it. And it does help me a little bit. Not a lot, but it does help me a little bit to get through my day. So, yeah. If you guys have any questions, now's a good time before I wrap this thing up, because tomorrow we're back at 6:30 p.m. Pacific with Medium Nancy Matz. And she's going to be talking about danger foretold. Did you heed the warning? Don't know what that's about. Danger, Will Robinson. Did you heed the warning? No. The danger foretold, did you heed the warning? So it's going to be interesting to talk with her about that. It's always fun to talk to Nancy on a Friday night. I might even set up on Saturday night. Maybe we'll have a watch party for Creature Features. We can watch a horror movie. We can watch a campy horror film together. So we'll see if I can get that set up today or tomorrow. So we're going to do some fun stuff with you guys. Lots of fun stuff. And I'm thinking about a public ghost hunt as well. I'm trying to find a location right now. And some of you guys can go on a public ghost hunt with us, and we'll teach you how to ghost hunt. Use our equipment. See if we can take some pictures or something of dead people. See if we can see dead people. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to call it a night. I see Pamela. I see Jerry in the chat room. And I want to thank you all for listening to me. And I just wanted to come on here, not only inform about, my updates, because I'm currently, navigating the system, doing this stuff. But I wanted to, set some stuff straight of what's actually going on with this opioid crisis, and so people understand it better from the patient's point of view, and what's been happening with that. So, okay, I will see you guys tomorrow. If you like the show, share it with 5 people. If you hated the show, share it with 5 of your enemies. We're equal opportunity here. Always want to get the word out about our show, and you guys are doing great doing that, so I really appreciate it. But I want to thank you all for coming. I really appreciate you, each and every one of you, not only at, TikTok and all those other places, but also at the RSS feed all over the world. Everybody that's all over the world. George, my buddy George in France. I'll never forget you, buddy. So thank you very much, and I appreciate it. And I will see you tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Pacific. Have a tremendous evening. Bye.